Working on a little water project, and if we can get the water perfect, that'll be great. Mary, you're heading it up from this part of the world, and I know they're working in West Palm Beach in the area, and we'll see whether it's desalinization or filtering. There's a couple of different ways we can do it, but whatever we can do, I think it would be great. We're working along with West Palm Beach also, so thank you, and thank you, Mayor. Dan Newland is here, and Gina Loudon is here, and Linda Stoach is here. And Larry and Sue Snowden are here. Thank you, Larry and Sue. Thank you. And basically, just sort of like everybody's here. And it's really something special. We're pleased to be in the same legislation as it renames another section of Southern Boulevard, and a very nice section indeed. I know it well, in honor of 3 brave motorcycle deputies from the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office who were killed last year in a horrific accident. Horrible. It was a horrible situation, but I saw so much love. I saw everybody in this room was there, plus. We had a ceremony in honor of these 3 incredible people. Corporal Luis Paez Jr., who is just, Luis Paez was somebody who was loved and respected by so many people. They all said, thank you for being there in honor of her, and Deputy Sheriff Ralph Butch Waller Jr. and Deputy Sheriff Ignacio Dan Diaz. The 3 of them, what happened to them, this was unbelievable. The ceremony was one of the most beautiful and saddest ceremonies that I've ever attended. But I was deeply honored to be there. On May 1st, I bestowed the honor of first ever. These were medals that were worked on by my son, Eric, very hard. We had a great jeweler. Can I say the name of the jeweler? Tiffany. And they came up with a really incredible medal, and it's called the Medals of Sacrifice, and they did a beautiful job. And it was really led by Eric Trump, so I want to thank you, Eric, too. Thank you. And unfortunately, when certain events happen like that, and they do happen, they shouldn't happen, but they do happen, we're going to do the medal ceremony, and it's going to be something special. So today we pay tribute to them and to those, to the loved ones. Some of their family members are here. We love their family members, what they went through. Those deputies will live in our hearts forever, and Florida will remember them always with the PBSO Motorman Highway. PBSO Motorman Highway, it's great, beautiful thing. I'm going to see it every time I go up that road. Today's dedication ceremony for President Donald J. Trump Boulevard is special meaning to me because I've always had the unique bond with the great state of Florida. We had tremendous success here. I've been part of the community for more than 40 years. We won big here in Florida all 3 times. We set every record every time. And in 2024, we swept 61 of 67 Florida counties. Nobody's ever done that, and carried the state by almost 2 million votes, which is the record. And then I was followed also from the governor's standpoint with Ron, who did fantastically also. And we've turned this state, there are a few Democrats in this room, I don't want to get into this, but we've turned the state extraordinarily red, I would say, wouldn't you say? You'll find out, you're going to see. But over the past 12 months, Florida's trust and confidence has really paid off because you made a correct choice. 1 year ago, we were, I say it, dead country. The king of Saudi Arabia, I was over in Saudi Arabia getting money for the country. He put up $2 trillion. Gave us, I'd like to invest in the United States, $2 trillion. It's a lot of money. And then I went to Qatar, $2 trillion, and I went to the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed, $2 trillion. So we took in $6 trillion. That's why we have 18, because we got 6 from 3 countries. That helps, right? Laura, is that right? Hi, Laura. Boy, you are something. What spirit you have. Laura Loomer, thank you, honey, for being here. I appreciate it. She's, she can be a little nasty, but to me, she's always nice. So that's all that matters. I want her to stay that way, too. But I was over there, and he looked at me, the king of Saudi Arabia. He said, I can't believe it. This was a few months ago. Took back all that money for the country. He said, I can't believe this is happening because 1 year ago you were a dead country, and now you're the hottest country in the world. And I use that quote all over. And it's true. We were a dead country, and now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're taking in more income than any country. We're doing better than any country. The stock market's doing better than anyone's ever seen before. We have the best stock market we've ever seen. 401ks are doing better than they've ever done before. They're up 78% in many cases. But starting on day one, we fully secured our Southern Boulevard and stopped and think of it, as we were securing Southern Boulevard, making Florida great, we're also securing a thing called the southern border and making that great, and we stopped the invasion of our country. So Florida's been ahead of their time. Florida was ahead, it led the way, but we stopped this was an invasion on our border. And I don't know if this is correct because it can't be correct, it's too good. But for the last 8 months, there have been no people that came into our country illegally. Now, I don't know if that's possible. How do you go from 25 million people in 4 years to 0 people? But the people, Wilton, the people that report this are Democrats. So it must be true. I mean, but it's like 8 months now, and they report it every month. No people came into our country, so I don't know, illegally. A lot of people are coming in legally. They're going through a process, but we don't want the illegal coming in. You look at what's happening in Minnesota, it's so sad. And it's so sad because ICE is taking out murderers. They're taking out drug lords. They're taking out people from mental institutions, bringing them back to their country. They're taking out the roughest people, Tren de Aragua. The jails are emptied out from Venezuela. Now I like Venezuela very much. I say good things. I don't talk about Venezuela in a negative. I think it's a wonderful country. We just were, it's very interesting. It's so much different. It's changed so much in literally a week. It was one of the great military maneuvers of all time. It was like flawless. It was one of the great of all time. But we're dealing with the new president. We're dealing with a lot of the people that were running the country, and they had our first thing is they said, we have 50 million barrels. Hard to believe, Eric. I said, is there such a thing as 50 million barrels? 50 million barrels of oil, and we have to get it processed immediately because we have no room. Will you take it? I said, we'll take it. I didn't have to consult with anybody on that. I didn't have to call up our great Attorney General. I said, we will take it. And it's the equivalent of $5.2 billion. That was the first day. And it's now traveling nicely to the United States. And we've had a great relationship with the people that are currently they say the interim president and everybody else. And it's been, I think a lot of pressure has been released. Because, that was a great country 20 years ago, and then it went bad because it had the wrong system. It had a bad system. And we can't ever fall into a position where we have that system, because that system isn't going to work. That system can make a lot of people that are good people, bad people, or incompetent people. But we passed the largest tax cuts in history, the largest regulatory cuts in history, and the largest spending cuts in history, and that got done. We call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill. We have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. People that buy a car, they get a deduction now on their interest. If they buy a car and borrow money, it never happened before. Rich people that got used to taking deductions. People in middle-class situations or lower than middle class, they never got deductions on anything they get now. I think it's going to have a huge impact. We're building more factories in the United States now than at any time in our history. And we have $18 trillion being invested. We have think of that, $18 trillion more than any country has ever had by 5 times. Think of that. There's never been anything even close. $3 trillion is the record. We're going to be, I think, at over 18. Through 10 months, it was 18. We could crack 20 by the time we have our first year, which will be in a little while, January 20th. So it's been amazing. We also did a couple of other things. Critical race theory and transgender insanity is out of our schools and out of our lives. And we got men out of women's sports, officially out of women's sports. And everyone said, well, that's an 80-20 issue. No, that's a 98-2 issue. I don't even think it's 98-2. Military recruitment is setting records. A year ago, and now you have to go a year and a half ago, I guess, but a year ago, military recruitment was at an all-time low, and that included for police and firemen. And now military recruitment, police and firemen, is the highest it's ever been. We have never had this many people apply for jobs. We've never seen anything like it. And we hire now on a merit-based system because we won the court case, the Supreme Court case. Everything's based now on merit. So we get people in merit as opposed to putting people in jobs that maybe shouldn't be there. Whether it's nice or not, it's how our country grew. It's how our country became great. So we have a merit-based system. In less than a year, we made 8 peace deals and ended the war in Gaza. We have peace in the Middle East. Nobody thought that was going to be possible. We stopped India and Pakistan from fighting, 2 nuclear nations. They say many millions of people. The Pakistani prime minister said Donald Trump saved at least 10 million people. And it was amazing, and it's an honor. And we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity with Operation Midnight Hammer. That was another operation that was incredible. And then you have al-Baghdadi. We got out. That's the founder of ISIS, was rebuilding ISIS. Got him. And Soleimani, he's the one, the roadside bomb. And frankly, he was a strong general. And maybe we wouldn't have been so successful. I think we would have, but maybe we wouldn't have been so successful in Iran had he been around. But he destroyed a lot of lives and a lot of young people that walk around with no legs, no arms, a face that was just smashed. He was the father of the roadside bomb, and he knew how to do it. We got him. And as I announced earlier this month, from right here at Mar-a-Lago, we apprehended the outlaw known as dictator Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela for his crimes against the United States and the rest of the world. And actually, no other nation in the world could have done that, and they actually admit that. There's no other nation could have done what we did a week ago. Every single day of my administration, I will continue to put America first and fight for the great state of Florida. I love this state. Special place. I don't know. It's just special. You know it. I know it. A lot of people know because a lot of people are coming here. So that when people see that the beautiful sign is all lit up nice at night and it says Donald J. Trump Boulevard, they'll be filled with pride. Just pride not in me, pride in our country, pride in the state, because our nation will be stronger, richer, and more successful, which is what it is right now. We're stronger, richer, and more successful than we have ever been before. And I didn't know the big surprise is that we could do this quickly. I thought it would take us a couple of years maybe, but we did it very quickly. I mean, it's been 11 months, and we've never had anything like it. More factories, more everything. There's never been anything like what we've done. And that means car factories, too, not just the AI. The AI is unbelievable, what's happening there. We're leading China by a lot, but we're building more car factories than at any time in the history of our country. Who would think that? And that's largely because of tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariff. It's a pretty simple formula, you know. China became powerful because of that. They don't want to pay the tariff, but it only works really here. It works best here, what a lot of people don't understand. It doesn't work in most countries, but here it works great. So because of that, we have more things happening than we've ever had, and I think you're going to see an explosion. You already see it, in all fairness, but this next year could be just an explosion of success. So once again, I want to express my gratitude to every official who contributed to this great honor, in particular Meg, who's an incredible, what a future. She's got a good future too, Daddy, right? Come on. And I want to thank especially my son, and I want to thank the great people of Florida. This is just an amazing day for me, and it's an amazing place. And we're going to have 3 more great years, but hopefully we're going to have many, many decades of greatness in this country. So we have it off to the right start. Thank you all very much. What an honor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. That's a serious sign. Wilton, you want to come up here? Yeah, look at that. Come on. I don't know if you're going to compete with it, Wilton. This is, all of a sudden, you're looking a little bit squeezy here. Let's see, good. Oh, that's great. Wow, I love that. Greatest president in our lifetime. Wilton, how old are you? That's not very long.
60, Mr. President.
And you do a great job, too. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you all very much. You know, we have a wedding here now. So they said, sir, is there any way you can move it quickly? I said, I'm not moving it quickly. We're not. And the people getting married were outside, and they said, take your time, sir. This is an honor. So it's sort of cute. Have a good time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here in the Oval Office, one of the great places of the world, as we make a historic announcement about the Golden Dome Missile Defense Shield. That's something we want, and Ronald Reagan wanted it many years ago, but they didn't have the technology, but it's something we're going to have. We're going to have it at the highest level. I want to thank Secretary Hegseth, who's been fantastic, and Secretary Rubio, and Space Force Vice Chief of Space Operations, General Mike Gutlein. I also want to recognize Senators Dan Sullivan, Kevin Kramer, and Jim Banks, fantastic senators, great talents, great political talents, and people that love our country. In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and it was very successful, and now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the One Big Beautiful Bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed. This afternoon, I'm also announcing that I will appoint, very importantly, General Gutlein to lead the ambitious new effort as the direct reporting program manager for the Golden Dome. A very talented man, and I'm very honored to have been the one that helped or really created Space Force. Space Force has turned out to be a tremendous success. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot. It's not even close. And Mike is a 4-star Space Force general, the recipient of the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, one of the most respected people in the world having to do with defense. You know, we have offense and we have defense. I'll bet he's good at offense. And he has an unmatched background in missile warning technology and defense procurement. General Goodline also knows that we need to move fast. No one is more qualified for his job, and everybody, this was a universal acceptance of General Goodline. Everybody that knows him and knows everybody else, they said there's only one man for the job, so I have a feeling we have the right guy. But now I'd like to invite Secretary Hegseth and the General to please say a few words and describe the system a little bit. And we appreciate you being here. And the press has really been very fair over the last period of a couple of months. I don't know what happened to you. It was so much more exciting the other way. But you've been very, very fair. We have very high poll numbers, the highest we've ever had. And I think we're doing a great job. We had a tremendous trip to the Middle East, as you know. It was a really amazing trip. And now I came home, and this is the one I was really looking forward to this day, because this is very important for the success and even survival of our country. It's a pretty evil world out there, so this is something that goes a long way toward the survival of this great country. And as I said, we'll be discussing Canada. They want to hook in, and they want to see if they can be a part of it. That sort of makes sense. I guess that's what I was talking about from day one. You know, it just automatically makes sense, and it won't be very difficult to do, but they'll pay their fair share. Thank you very much, everybody. And Pete, go ahead.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is a game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're going to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force, and here we are when others said we didn't need it. Here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Guetlein, leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Thank you, Pete. Pete's doing a great job, by the way. Thank you very much. General, please.
Mr. President, today is a great day for the nation as we double down on protection of the homeland. As you're aware, our adversaries have become very capable and very intent on holding the homeland at risk. While we have been focused on keeping the peace overseas, our adversaries have been quickly modernizing their nuclear forces, building out ballistic missiles capable of hosting multiple warheads, building out hypersonic missiles capable of attacking the United States within an hour and traveling at 6,000 miles an hour, building cruise missiles that can navigate around our radar and our defenses, and building submarines that can sneak up on our shores, and worse yet, building space weapons. It is time that we change that equation and start doubling down on the protection of the homeland. Golden Dome is a bold and aggressive approach to hurry up and protect the homeland from our adversaries. We owe it to our children and our children's children to protect them and afford them a quality of life that we have all grown up enjoying. Golden Dome will afford that. I greatly appreciate your trust in me and your nomination in me and your trust in the team to deliver this. It is a great day for America.
And also, very importantly, we're the only ones that have this, we call it super technology. Nobody else has it. And nobody else has really near what we have. So this is a very exciting project. This is something that will, the general said close to 100% protection. So that's something we need. I think it's and everything's going to be made in the USA, by the way, very importantly. So it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And I just noticed you two, Jim, you're standing there, and behind you is a very important document, Declaration of Independence. And that was in the vault for many decades right under this area. They have vaults with pictures on top. You have Abraham Lincoln. You see that was the original Abraham Lincoln, the original Washington. And does everybody know who the middle was? General Grant. And so it's very exciting. You look over here, and above Ronald Reagan, you have Thomas Jefferson. That's Monroe from the Monroe document. And you know who that is, right? Andrew Jackson. So we have a lot of very exciting pictures, and on the other side, likewise, some great presidents and great people. And many of these, because people were asking about them, many of them, almost all of them, were in the vaults or nearby, but generally in the vaults downstairs, where we have some great. So it's very exciting, and the place has become a little different than you first saw it, Jim, right?
Yes, much
It's a
better.
little bit different, it's slightly better. But to think we had them, and some were in the vaults for over 100 years. So it's pretty cool stuff. Everybody knows Jim Banks. He's a great congressman, and now he's a great senator from Indiana. And you might want to say a few words.
Well, your legacy with Space Force, Mr. President, is already big, but the Golden Dome is going to be an even bigger legacy for our country. And Indiana is going to help you make it.
Right.
The space satellites that are made at Fort Wayne, Indiana by L3 Harris, all the work done at Crane Navy Base in southern Indiana is going to be a big part of it. And Hoosiers are very proud of that. We're proud of you. Thank you very much.
It'll be a big factor. Thank you, and good luck, and congratulations. You won that race by a lot. That wasn't even a contest, right?
Well, thank you. Thanks to you and all of your support.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Please go ahead. This is Senator Kramer, and he's one of our best. Can't get any better. Go ahead.
Well, you're very nice, Mr. President, and thanks for this. And I remember the day in your first term when you called, and I was a brand new baby freshman senator on the Armed Services Committee, and you said, I want to have a Space Force. Would you lead the effort on the Senate Armed Services Committee? And I felt so proud thinking that you chose me, only to find out later no one else would do it. But nonetheless, it worked out really, really, really well because North Dakota has some great space assets, and that contribute to that and to Golden Dome. No surprise that you would be the president that would come along and put the homeland first. And this is just one more example of that. So thanks for this and for allowing me this opportunity. And by the way, let me just add my strong endorsement of General Goodline's role in leading this. I don't know anybody better, for sure, better equipped to do it than he is.
Everybody said that.
Yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
Dan Sullivan, Alaska, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your continued leadership on missile defense. We were talking earlier how in 2019 at the Pentagon, you laid out a speech about the Missile Defense Review that had all these principles on missile defense you articulated then during your first term, and now the Golden Dome is all of that. So you're continuing to lead. We really appreciate it. The Congress is stepping up, as you mentioned right now in the budget reconciliation bill, $25 billion for the Golden Dome. And what Senator Kramer and Senator Banks and I and many others, we're working on and I briefed you on this before, sir, on our Golden Dome Act, which we think will have, in terms of legislation that can help cement what you're doing right here, getting the Congress behind it, not just with the funding, but with authorization. So we're working closely with Secretary Hegseth, General Gutlein, and the whole team. So we're very honored to be here, sir. And Alaska is the cornerstone of missile defense right now in terms of ground-based missile interceptors, in terms of radar systems and track incoming missiles. So my state is honored to continue to play a critical role in all of this and build on it. And we're really excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Great. Any questions?
Mr. President, you had mentioned at the beginning of your remarks that this was a campaign promise of yours. Have military commanders asked for this system specifically? Because NORAD had said previously that the current system was adequate. So what does this get the United States
Somebody
that
said the
isn't
current
already
system is
in
adequate.
before?
There really is no current system. We have certain areas of missiles and certain missile defense, but there's no system. We just have some very capable weapons that hopefully we never have to use, but we have some very capable weapons. Now, this is a different league. There's never been anything like this. This is something that's going to be very protective. I think you can rest assured there'll be nothing like this. Nobody else is capable of building it either.
Was it something that military commanders asked you for? Did they ask you to do this?
Well, let me put
Pentagon?
it differently. I suggested it, and they all said, "We love the idea, sir." That's the way it's got to be, right? But they want it, and they wanted it badly once it was suggested. I don't know if they ever thought they would be lucky enough to have it, but we were able to get it done, and we have all the funding, so pretty much tucked away. I think most people feel it's very important to have. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you first announced this idea, critics said it would be prohibitively expensive, potentially ineffective, and could trigger an arms race in space. What do you say to those critics about that?
Well, they're wrong. It's about as close to perfect as you can have in terms of real production. I told you Canada wants to be a part of it, which be, fairly small expansion. But we'll work with them on pricing. We'll be dealing with them on pricing. They know about it very much. They've asked to be a part of it, actually. They've asked us to be a part of it. I think it's something that is great. If you can afford to do it, we can afford to do it. We took in $5.1 trillion in the last 4 days in the Middle East. And when you think about it, this is a tiny fraction of that. But we make it all here. We're going to make it all here. We have, I will tell you, an adversary told me, a very big adversary told me the most brilliant people in the world are Silicon Valley. He said, we cannot duplicate them. We can't. This was somebody that I won't tell you who it is, but you'd be amazed. We have the most brilliant minds in the world doing this kind of thing, the equipment, the space, the computers, everything. But I said that we just can't duplicate what you have there in Silicon Valley. We never have been able to, and there's a very strong group of people and very strong minds, but they can't. So we have things that nobody else can have. You see what we've done helping Israel with that. You probably wouldn't have in Israel. They launched probably 500 missiles altogether, and I think 1/2 of a missile got through, and that was only falling to the ground as scrap metal. It's pretty amazing, and this is in terms of technology far advanced from that system.
And just one follow-up on the adversaries. Have you addressed Russia's ventures in space with a space-based nuclear weapon and told Putin to stop in your conversations with him?
We haven't discussed it, but at the right time we will. Yeah.
Mr. President, with the goal of keeping Americans safe with this, can you talk about the timeline? How long will this take to complete?
We think it's going to be about a little bit less than 3 years, and we'll have a big phase-in very early. We're starting immediately with $25 billion. It'll cost about $175 billion completed, but we think in 2.5 to 3 years.
Are you confident that you can get the funding needed from Congress quickly?
Yeah. It's amazing how easy this one is to fund. Some funding is tough and some is easy. When we say we're going to save everyone's lives in a crazy world, it seems to be very easy to get. Yeah, we've already spoken to everybody we have to speak to. Everybody's in, I would say, Dan, everybody's in line here, right?
Yes, sir. $25 billion is a down payment in the budget reconciliation bill right now.
Yeah, so I think
Mr. President, on Russia,
people actually love it.
Mr. President, on Russia, are you worried about the reports on a military buildup along the borders towards Finland and Norway?
No, I don't worry about that at all. They're going to be very safe. Those are two